It's okay to fail without being a failure. Even though I may not succeed at an obstacle, or maybe I don't have a successful race, in my opinion, I have very high standards for myself. I don't dwell on that failure. I analyze to try to understand why, and I don't make excuses. I don't take excuses. I won't do anything unless I can succeed or win. I prepare up to that point, and that way I know going into the situation, I know that I'm best prepared to succeed.
Welcome to the Hard Way podcast with Joe DeCina, founder and CEO of Spartan Races. We're teaching you how to overcome your obstacles in your life the same way we teach our 10 million plus Spartans to overcome obstacles on the course, with insight from the smartest, most accomplished experts from every corner of the world. Get ready to elevate your life today.
Joe DeCina here, CEO and founder of Spartan and host of the Hard Way podcast. I've got a Spartan on the phone. This guy is unbelievable. He's a real estate investor, Greg Yocom. He's an athlete. Where are you now, Greg?
I'm here at my home in Wichita, Kansas.
You're a Kansas guy, which means you must be like salt of the earth, good human being. We bumped into each other at a finish line at one of the races. You've done how many Spartan events?
Oh, probably over 100.
Done over 100 events. How old are you?
I'm 65.
65. I said, we got to do the podcast together because I'm intrigued on, how somebody gets the bug. Clearly, I've got the bug. I've been putting these things on for 24 plus years in some form or fashion. But I'm always intrigued when I meet somebody like yourself that just can't get enough of it. And, I want to dive into your background. You grew up in Kansas?
Yes, I did all my life. I've traveled all over the country, been out of the country a few times, but I like to stay close to home.
You must have had a pretty rugged childhood. Would you grow up on a farm or something? Anybody who's done over 100 races, you must be tough as nails.
No, I'd like to think I'm tough as nails, but I am a human. Really, my interest and background to get into competing is racing. I've always been a racer. I've raced motorcycles, cars, high level and motorcycles and car racing all over the country. And I can't see as well as I used to, and I can't hear as well as I used to. So the mental and physical of Spartan is exciting, and we do that. That's fun.
You're a competitor, basically. You've always been a competitor, I guess, since you're a kid?
Yes, very much so.
Where'd that come from?
I really don't know. I wasn't a big person when I growing up. I was small. I did play some basketball, tried to play some football, but just physically wasn't large enough.
So maybe you got a little chip on your shoulder. You're trying to make up for that.
I like to be relevant. I like to be noticed. Yes.
What were your parents like? Were they tough on you?
For the most part, yes. I kind of grew up with, never mind, I'll do it myself. I really don't like to ask for help, and I do it myself.
Well, look, we're looking for insights here because anybody watching or anybody listening, everybody wants to be resilient. Everybody wants to be gritty, right? Like we all want to be able to grind through life. We look at somebody like you who's done all this. You've been successful. You don't need anybody's help. You knocked out 100 of these events. Like we're looking for clues. Like give us some insights.
The mental toughness comes from just wanting to succeed. Take away the excuses. One of my biggest business philosophies is I really don't like excuses. We all make mistakes and we can fix them. And I always like to try to stay ahead of any kind of mistake or shortfall, shortcoming, accident, something. And I hate to fail. I always stay prepared. I work hard at pretty much everything.
It's an interesting word you just used, prepared. I think that's where most people fail, right? Like I remember when I was running my business at a young age, we would come home late at night from working all day. And it was very easy to just go to bed. But if I didn't become prepared for the next day, then the next day fell apart. And then I was behind. And then I was behind the day. And you started to dig a hole that you couldn't get out of. So I learned back then how to stay prepared. I like that word. And I would tell me if you agree, most people just don't have that. They don't have that. They don't do it.
That is true. Our lives have gotten a lot softer, a lot easier. I mean, you and I both remember back before the internet, and that's when I started my business. And you say you come home from a day of work. I was working two jobs as I transitioned into my real estate business, and I would get home at night, and it's really kind of laughable. My wife was telling this story the other day. We had this house, and she's very just likes to change things around. So I would literally have to turn the light on in the room to see which wall she had the bed on, so that I would land in the right place.
So I'm trying to dive into like how you got the wiring you got that made you this person that we could all try to be. You're running your own business. It sounds like you got a successful family life. Is that a fair assumption?
Sure, that's right.
Right? You got a successful family life. You're obviously a competitor. You're getting after it even into your 60s, where most 20-year-olds aren't getting after it. Like, how do we do? I don't think it's enough for you to just say on this podcast, like, you just got to do this, right? Because I say that, but people, they don't even know how to start.
Right. I get that. The drive and the determination. There was a time 30 plus years ago, I had a divorce, and that wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I didn't want to fail. I felt as if I failed. And I went to a church service that morning, and the pastor said that it's okay to fail without being a failure. So even though I may not succeed at an obstacle, or maybe I don't have a successful race, in my opinion, I have very high standards for myself. I don't dwell on that failure. I analyze to try to understand why, and I don't make excuses. I don't take excuses.
I think that's a big takeaway. I mean, I've never really heard that before, as silly as it sounds. Just because you fail, it doesn't make you a failure.
That is correct.
If you could internalize that concept, well, then maybe we all try a little harder, because we know we might fail. Look, the harder you try, the more likely you're going to fail, right? You fail at things.
Right. You hear about, Wayne Gretzky, these guys, Michael Jordan, taking all these shots, and they miss so many, but they seem to make all of them. I mean, you don't know unless you try. And some of the things, I guess my biggest downfall is that I won't do anything unless I can succeed or win. I prepare up to that point, and that way I know go into the situation, I know that I'm best prepared to succeed.
But you might fail.
Correct.
And you're okay with it.
I wake up tomorrow and I'm, applying for another job or trying another task. I mean, I'm always doing something to, okay, I learned my lesson. I fell down and I skinned my knee. I'll put a Band-Aid on it and I won't fall on that knee again.
What lessons can you give us, if you don't mind me asking, that have worked in your second marriage that didn't work in your first marriage?
Well, communication is very important. And I definitely was not a good human before.
You've cleaned up your act.
Yes, sir.
Well, 100 Spartan races will do that.
Yeah, and I look at the Spartan race, and I mean, one of the chats we had, I told you that at my age, people look at me, oh, you're retired. Well, no, I don't want to fucking quit. And I'm not a quitter. And that's the conversation that kind of started this process of communication with you and I, that I don't see me giving up. I feel like that's giving up. You quit. I mean, I have fun every day.
I remember the conversation now. You said to me, people around you are all retiring and you view that as quitting.
Right. There was we had a little block party in our neighborhood here, and there was some people kind of proud that they had retired. And I don't know, it just slipped out. I said, so why'd you fucking quit? And everybody just like, why did you just say that? And then I explained my thought that we cannot quit in today's world. We can't quit because you see people retire. They do a lot of things maybe they didn't have the opportunities to do. And I understand and really, really enjoy seeing them have fun. But never give up, never quit.
No, listen, there's a lot of studies out there that when people retire, they don't live that long afterward, right? Because you lose your purpose, you lose your drive.
Right. Those guys you spoke to, had coffee with at lunch, at work, whatever, maybe you don't see those guys, and it's just you lose your mind, you lose the focus.
Yeah, no, that's a good lesson. But most of us are grinding every day, hoping, we get to 60, 65, we get to retire, we're going to finally go to Disneyland, we're going to do all those things. But how many days can you actually do that stuff for? You can't do it very much, right?
I
Like, I
know,
mean, you're
I
bored.
know, I know. With my work and lifestyle, we, okay, we were in Tampa 30 hours for the race. Came back, went on a group car drive for Memorial Weekend. Then last weekend, I was in Kansas City for a big 10K hill race and did that. And then this weekend, I'm back and I'm traveling to Austin for a DECA. So we're just there for a little bit of time, but we did it.
I love it. No, I love this idea of traveling and doing one of these events somewhere in the world. I've met a lot of people in different parts of the world, Abu Dhabi, Croatia,
Croatia's
Mexico.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And matter of fact, folks from out in the Midwest that have said to me, "Hey, Joe, we never left our little town, and now we're chasing these races and these medals all over the world. We got to see the world." So obviously, I love that.
That's one of the big things early on. Whenever we said, okay, we're going to collect enough trifecta points, and I think one year, the best year, I had like 5, 6 trifectas, and that was back when the you could buy those. You didn't want to call them a season pass; you called them an annual pass.
Yeah.
And me and a buddy from across town bought those and just thought we'd won the lottery. We were going to every race. We'd race Saturday, Sunday, maybe twice on one day, and just we were beat up, but we were in our 50s and just having fun.
What would you tell people watching or listening that say to themselves, why would you want to torture yourself? Why would you want to crawl under barbed wire? Why would you want to be cold, tired, and hungry? It doesn't make any sense.
I'll get to answer that, but a story. He had a race a handful of years ago there in Lincoln, Nebraska. Beautiful venue. I couldn't believe they let you cut up these nice soccer fields to put mud pits in, but it was beautiful. And we were volunteering at the time, and there was some Biggest Loser folks that were running the race. And seeing those folks cross that finish line, they were tears, there was joy, there was just all these emotions going on that actually touched my wife and I. That what we're doing is kind of a big deal. We were taking it for granted because we've always been kind of athletic and fit, so we were doing these things for fun. So to see somebody complete these and travel, they meet new friends. I mean, whether you're the top elite or the last person that finishes, which Spartan does celebrate that last finisher, you all go through the same track, same course, and we all can talk about the same thing, whether you were running a 6-minute pace or a 15-minute walk. And that's what is so exciting about it. And anyone can do these. That's, your commercials where you have people saying, if you can walk a mile, if you can run a 5K, if you can do this, you can do a Spartan race. That is very true. Sure, there's some things you want to learn and kind of work on your fitness to succeed. But if you're doing it with a group of your friends from the gym, that maybe everybody's in there to lose that 10 pounds they gained over the winter, everybody's celebrating, it is a fun thing.
How would you apply what you learn out there doing these crazy events all over the world? How would you apply it to business? Has it helped you with business?
As far as business, you have to be extremely positive, and I don't want to use the word confident, but you have to be assured that you're going to succeed. And if you go in with a positive attitude and with a smile, don't get angry if somebody pushes back, or just try to find a way around, through, over and under it, or make it happen. Or let them go on their path, and then they fail. Then you come back and help them.
You think you've acquired more of a over, under, or through attitude from the events, like for business?
Very much so.
Yeah, like for me, when things are going bad, which is every day in business, you got a headache every single day. I've got something to compare it to, which is, whether it's barbed wire or climbing a rope or carrying a weight up a mountain or whatever. And I say, well, it's not that bad.
Well, and there's a lot of those coaches, business coaches, that say, do that hardest thing the first part of the day. Do that first thing, get that hard stuff out of the way, and then the day gets much simpler. It kind of is, not that you can coast, but it seems you can just kind of cruise downhill and it's okay. I somewhat agree with that, but And sometimes if there's some task that you have to do that is that grind every day of your work, get better at it or learn how to figure out a way to do it better.
You know what I hear a lot? I hear, hey, Joe, I lost my motivation. I'm not motivated to, do this or do that. Or what would you say to those people?
That's kind of an excuse, Joe. That is an excuse for your failure. So you're already got the mindset you're going to fail. So step back, take a breath, look at it, and think about the process and try to make it better. Understand the process. Everything has a process.
But Joe, I'm not a morning person. I don't wake up early.
Gosh, I guess you're working till 10, 11 o'clock at night then, when you should be sleeping. Okay,
Yeah.
just move your hours away. There's third shift guys. Okay, good. Thank you. We need your help on the third shift.
I tell people all the time, you need more sleep, go to bed earlier. Right?
That's true. Yeah, don't stay up so late.
What about social media? You stare at your phone as much as everybody else?
I try not to. I really, really try not to, but with my business, I need to stay on top of things. Yeah, the social media, we all know everybody is a keyboard warrior, has their opinions on what's going on in the world on that day. And I choose not to reply because even if someone somehow you're with your business, you get a bad Google review, you can't win that argument. Let it go. Just go get a new, better Google review from somebody because that person that maybe felt as if they were wronged or maybe didn't understand that they feel as if they were mistreated or whatever it might be. Maybe fix that. Maybe talk to them if you can and ask them how come and try to do better.
Yeah, it is tough with people sitting behind the screen and the keyboard. They don't have the consequence of being face to face
Right.
and working through the problem. So it is difficult to turn that tide for sure. All right. Well, what would you say if somebody listening to this, watching this, that says, you know what, I'm intrigued. This guy's done 100 events. Seems like he's got his head screwed on straight. He's getting after it every day. What's the first step you would recommend to somebody out there? First step for being a better person, for doing some events, maybe doing events, maybe not, just leveling up their life. First step.
I would say get outside and walk around the block. Get some fresh air, even if it's raining. Just be careful it's not lightning, and walk around the block. See what your neighbors are doing. See what the people around you see what they're doing. Say hi to somebody at the grocery store.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right, we live in our home. We're 95% of our life. We're indoors now.
Yeah, very much so.
Just getting outside, go for a walk.
I mean, backing out of your driveway, you might see the neighbor across the street in the yard. Do you wave at him? You look at him. No, you don't want to make eye contact. But no, say hi.
Yeah.
Help them if their dumpster's out by the curb on Monday when they pick the trash man comes by and you're out there at noon doing something. Pull it up by their house. Maybe they missed it. Maybe they're sick and get outside today.
I like that. What's your next race? DECA this weekend?
DECA. I feel good. I did a half a DECA with all the hard stuff with the mile and a half, mile and 6/10 of a run this morning, and feel good. Kind of tapering. This Kansas City race, there was about 800 in this Hospital Hill, which is a 51-year-old race, and it's the hills around the Kansas City Mercy Hospital. There was about 800 in the 10K. I was 75th overall. I was the highest placed oldest finisher. There was some guy from Iowa that snuck in there. They must have snuck him in, and he got me by a couple minutes, but third place was 9 minutes behind me.
Wow. So
for some big ass guy like me, 6'1", 200 pounds, I'm kind of an older hunter, and so they don't expect us to go fast.
You're fit as hell, and I love it. I think we need more of that. This country, by the way, you notice it in the airports like me. I mean, everybody's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It looks terrible.
Oh my, yes, very much so.
I get a lot of people on social media saying, well, you can't control this, you can't control that. We need freedom. And I think, well, shit, it's affecting everybody's healthcare costs. It's actually affecting us in a negative way. The people that take care of themselves are paying the price for those that don't.
If it's on the shelf, it's probably good for you, right?
Probably not.
I know. And our lives are busy. Again, that's an excuse, but if we would take time to maybe try to change our diets a little bit, walk around the block, say hi to your neighbor, things would be better. But the medicine that we got on some Netflix thing, I was watching something about the opioids, how the drug companies did all this. And it was really, really eye-opening if 90% of it's true. My family, grandfather family, they were all kind of restaurant owners, didn't eat right, but lived to middle 80s, diabetes, type 1 diabetes, big people. And my cholesterol is just high. It's not, it's too damn high, or it's high, or it's okay. And the doctor wanted to start giving me pills to do that. And I said, no, I can't do that. I don't want some medicine to falsely change my chemistry inside to do that. So I just try to eat right, and I don't have all the things that would cause me to have that, the fried chicken, I no more. But it's getting better.
Most people don't have the will. They don't have the ability to cut out the bad stuff, to stick to it. They can't even, most of us can't even last a month after New Year's resolution.
And that maybe, I addicted to donuts because my parents had a donut shop back when I was a little kid. They're not as good as they used to be. So maybe as a treat, okay, I'll have one or two or whatever. They're not as good as they used to be. So it's like, why did I get so excited to get this? I mean, okay, I'm good.
My sister-in-law takes donuts and she'll put turmeric all over them and then give them to the kids. So the kids have a connection in their mind with donuts tasting terrible.
That's funny. That reminds me of a grocery store. I was working as a kid for break. I got some powdered donuts. And this guy from the meat market would always come back there and eat all of our food. So we got some alum, which is the stuff you put in dill pickles. It's a white powder. Shook him up. Oh, he was pissed off. He had those. It was a terrible thing. But I was like, 16 years old.
So here's a question. We've been talking about you. What about for those husbands? What about for those moms and dads that want to instill this mindset, the mindset you have, into their own families? What would you recommend?
I mean, we all want to have our children raised better than we had it. And there's some truth to that mindset, but I don't agree with that so much anymore. We want to be there to support them and help them, but let them fall and skin their knee. Don't be those, what they call them, helicopter parents. Help them along, support them when they want to go do something. But if they don't want to do it, and maybe there's something absolutely that you positively want them to be that next NBA star, and the child really doesn't want to do that, let them go find something else. Don't make them do it, because it'll hurt in the future.
I guess you're supposed to bend but not break.
Correct.
Right. I pushed my boys into wrestling, and I kept them there beyond what they wanted to do. And then eventually I got lucky and they fell in love with it. But you do hear of stories where, the parents just push too hard, force them into something, and they regret it later. Look at Agassi. Look at some of the tennis players they talk about.
Right.
Their dad's pushing them way too hard. Mm-hmm. So there is a delicate balance. But overall, tell me if you agree, I would say we don't push enough as parents these days.
That is correct. They need to, it's hard to say, but they really, really need to get out of the house. Keep, monitor their friends. There's so many bad influences out there, and be gentle with their minds, because they're fragile creatures mentally. We hear so many children that fall into some holes and shouldn't, that we lose. Just love your kids, hug them.
Well, listen, how do people find you? If they want to follow your escapades around the world running all these events, how do they find you?
If they want to look at me on Facebook, I do posts on there, travel, some Instagram, but it's Greg Yocom, Yocom. And or if you want to reach out to me, email greg@wichitahomebuyer.com. And I can help you with your investment properties. Currently, I've got, I guess this is a time where I can promote stuff.
Sure. You want to sell some houses?
Right now we're pretty busy there. But as far as apparel, you always see me running Rabbit Clothes. They provide me with apparel, and I'm working on a shoe deal for this year. But Saucony and Fartleks is a local store that helps me there and innovate shoes.
I love it. I love it. Well, look, you're awesome. Thanks for being a huge Spartan. Thanks for doing over 100 events. Let me know if you need anything. We're going to support you. I love the mindset, and I'm always intrigued. Listen, somebody over 60 years old that's getting after it in a bigger and more badass way than a 20-year-old. I gotta talk to him. I gotta find out what's going on under the hood.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.